All right, welcome back to part two.
I don't think I can save that, really. It is perished pretty bad. There's cracks all over it. There is ways I could try to repair it, but I still don't think it's going to be strong enough. That is pretty bad shape. There is two little parts here where a little pin goes through there that opens the bonnet latch. That has snapped off. There are cracks around this part, which is part of the cast itself. I'm sure somebody that cast alloy could fix this thing up, but I do not do that. So this dent's quite a dent. That's going to be a little bit tricky to get out. Not looking forward to that. It is definitely pickled everywhere and along the edges. A little bit of a mishap up the front. That's snapped clean off. That's a pretty old break. So that's obviously been broken when this was hit on the front. Had a little hairline crack in it over the years, deteriorated. You could probably snap that with your hand. It's not looking good, but let's see how good we can make it look. And let's get straight into it. What I'm gonna do is throw this through my sandblaster on the back and get rid of all this crud and stuff on the back. I might give it a little whirl on the front maybe and see how that turns out, and then I'll get into polishing. All right, well, a little bit of sandblasting definitely uncovered a lot of crap. This thing is pretty bad. Like it is really bad. I don't know if you guys can see, but that's pretty bad pitting. I don't think there's a whole lot of saving this actually. Without TIG welding, aluminium, cast alloy, I'm not hugely knowledgeable about that stuff. Don't have a TIG welder, so this is going to be extremely difficult. Up the front here, I do have a plan in mind, and that is reshaping this. So there is a little bolt hole here, which is pretty strong. Obviously, you screw a bolt in. I could reshape this, but I could be wrong. I might just use chalk on this. Reshaping these to suit still keeping that original look, but I will be taking off all the crud down the front. Definitely losing a little bit of length and the originality of it. It's not something I want to do, but in this case I'm trying to save as much of it as I can. This could be an option to reshape, recut it, just measure it out and mark it all, and trim off those edges, make a nice new front section, front point on that. As for the latch, I don't think I'm going to be able to save that unless I made a steel one. I definitely don't think I'm going to even be able to move that at this point without things snapping. The cast itself, which is quite annoying, this piece here. So without thinking about it too much, I am going to get some sandpaper out and start sanding this thing back. As for getting these dents out, you know, it's probably going to take one hit and this thing's going to crack, which is going to be very annoying. I kind of want to hit these first and see if I can get those out. If I can't get those out without it cracking, I think I'm probably going to be wasting my time on this little project. So what I do need is something very soft before I start hammering this thing out. Which this here might be just good enough. That will be perfect. Bit of heat, and we'll see what happens. Well, to be honest, I don't think there's any saving this. That is quite annoying because I reckon it's an awesome piece. I'm trying to come up with different options here to make this reusable, but it's definitely not going to be original. So I had a small idea. Following the same pattern that's up the top here with these steps, I'm just going to have to get rid of all of the crap up the top and make this a point of interest. One here, one here, one here, one here. This is my idea, to try to save this section in here. Obviously, I'll be trying to keep that original shape that's up the front, up the top. Right, so right here is a bolt hole, and there are one there, one there, one here, and there's this one down the bottom. That's my goal, I think. Cut this out, try to save this section, obviously keeping the Ford badge on the front. It's just not going to be that original big swooping wing that's up there. But I do still think that might look pretty cool, polished up and on the front of the car. Maybe not, I don't know. It kind of looked like shit because it's not the original one. Pretty shame. Tapping those, that alloy is crusty. That is like dust. And I did actually notice there is a massive crack down here through this section. Just across here, there is a nice hairline crack. Sand it back, get some filler in there. I might be able to save that. Yeah, kind of annoying. Let's get into it and see what it turns out like. Yeah.
Alright guys, well I'm going to call this one a fail. You can't win them all, absolutely not. It's kind of a bummer, like it's a really nice piece. I wish it wasn't dented or anything like that to begin with. The rest of the car seemed to be alright. Actually no, it was pretty well gone. But I think this piece was pretty well gone as well to begin with, and it was quite a mission, even getting everything out and off. Yeah, I think the win was getting all the bolts out, because that's simply just a bit of heat and they come out pretty easy. Again, this thing, it's pretty thick cast, so I could certainly spend a little bit more time sanding out those pits, but as you see, how far do you go? You keep going, the more vibrations you put across aluminium, especially cast alloy, there's those little cracks that are just going to open up and ruin your piece. So again, this one's a fail. I'm going to move on to the next and see how that turns out. It is the big one, and there's quite a lot of work involved in getting that thing back to normal. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. I reckon that's going to be a fail as well. Doubt myself before I even started. To be honest, again, this thing is rusted to the max, and making some new pieces for that is going to be very tricky. I do have some of the needles in 3 of them. The middle one is missing its needle. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that the needle is inside that and I can glue it back together, or try and shimmy up myself a new one somehow. Yeah, as for getting it to work again, I don't think it will, but a lot of elbow grease and some power, maybe, who knows. I'm going to leave that right there till next time. Thanks guys for watching. Again, waste of time, but had a lot of fun doing it. And yeah, there's quite a bit missing, so that's kind of annoying. I didn't really want to do that, but it's cool for the wall. I reckon that one's going to go on the wall somewhere. Yeah, I'll catch you all guys on the next one. Please stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. Cheers guys.